We've been doing the mood tracker a lot on the show this time of year. We like to look at the fan base and we like to say, what's the mood? How you guys feeling? Not the glass always full or the glass always empty folks, but the ones in the middle, the solid 80% as we call them. What is the mood? And I thought we should do Tennessee tonight. And the mood at Tennessee, I think, is one of those classic, pretty good. Pretty good. That's what I tell everyone anytime they ask me how I'm doing. Pretty good. Translation, could be better, could be worse. Now, if you're like me and someone tells you they're doing pretty good, your response is, okay, bye. Because you know that there's probably some issues they have that if you ask about are going to keep you tied up for the next hour. And so the guy who's doing pretty good knows he's got a lot to be thankful for. Just like Tennessee fans have a lot to be thankful for. They remember where they were. They know where they are now. They certainly prefer the latter to the former. But they also know that if they look around the SEC neighborhood, there's some places doing better than them. If they look around the college football neighborhood, there's some nicer houses. There's some shinier cars. Now, there's some broke down houses and cars as well, but there's some shiny cars and nice cars. And look, we're Tennessee. A generation ago, we were a perennial national championship contender. And if you're 17 years old watching the show, you just take my word for it. But that was Tennessee football once upon a time. And it could be again. And there's no reason it shouldn't be again. So you're kind of just doing pretty good. Now, in April of 2025, we had the Nico Iamaleava bomb dropped on us. And at the time, I said, if they can just throw me 7 or 8 wins, I'll be good. And they did. They went 8-4. And that was April 20th of last year. So this time last year, we were still 2 months away from finding out, our season's about to fundamentally change. And the quote-unquote quarterback of our future, he's leaving us, and we're going to take the guy he's replacing at UCLA, who's been at UCLA for 5 minutes, and Joey Aguilar. 8 wins, all things considered. Could have been 9 with the bowl game, but it was 8 wins. Good enough. I think the mentality now is, all right, 2026. So if we view 2025 as this transition year, 2026 basically, in my mind, becomes, is that like low-key year 2 of a 2-year transition? Transition years are okay in college football, but you don't want them to be paired. Like, you don't want 2 transition years, because that's a transition period. And no one wants a transition period, especially several years into a coaching tenure. But there are at least grounds to consider 2026 as the second of 2 consecutive transition years. For example, at quarterback, what are we doing? Is it Faison? Is he just starting for us right out of the gate? He's the quarterback of our future. Yeah. We said that about Nico once upon a time, but we think he's going to be better than Nico. Is he going to be the guy right out of the gate, though? Is he going to be ready? Or do we have to wait a year? Jim Knowles just took over as our defensive coordinator. Knowles is notorious for having a complex defense, but a good defense, but a defense that it takes time to learn. So is he going to be back to top 15, top 10 right out of the gate? Or will it take a year? He brought some kids with him from Penn State. Are they going to hit right out of the gate? Are we going to go back to top 10, which we were 2 years ago, or is it going to take a year? Now, we probably won't be in the 90s somehow like we were last year, but there's a difference between having the 15th best defense in the country and the 45th best defense in the country. Also, this profiles as a pretty young team this year. So are these guys going to be ahead of schedule, or do we have to wait a year? Hey, do me one favor right here. Look down. Are you subscribed to the channel? If you are, thank you. If you're not, please click subscribe. It helps us keep the show free and free of corporate interference. All right, that's it for me. Back to the clip. So my approach with Tennessee has always been to zoom out because it helps to know the history at Tennessee. Not the long history. All due respect to General Neyland, like, we don't need to talk about him. We don't need to talk about Johnny Majors or Phil Fulmer. Just go recent. Just go Derek Dooley. Go Butch Jones. Go the entire weird COVID era, and then understand how bad it was and how relatively better it is now. And that really helps. It helps to zoom out on Tennessee. So yes, I want a title if I'm a Tennessee fan. And yes, I believe we're capable of winning one. You better believe if Indiana can win one, we should be able to win one. But forget about Indiana. If Georgia and Alabama can win them, we should be able to win them. If LSU can do it, why can't we do it? And that's its own separate debate. But and I'm speaking as me for a second, there is a train of thought. There's like a school of thought out there that Tennessee's chance has kind of passed them by. It's garbage. There's no foundation in logic with that way of thinking. No more than there was in thinking the game had passed Miami by. Nothing has passed Miami by. Nothing's passed Tennessee by. You can still do everything in Tennessee now you can do in 1998. I promise you. It just takes the stars aligning the same way they did back then, but you can appreciate that it's not quite where you want it to be, but also appreciate it's a long way from what it used to be like in a much better way. 2025, number 11 class in the country in recruiting. 2026, number 9 class in the country in recruiting. They're just kind of searching for that sweet spot. So I go back to the mood. What's the mood? Pretty good. Could it be better? Yeah. Could it be worse? Oh, yes. That's the mood at Tennessee right now. Classic tweener vibe. It won't be all that long before we're talking about futures bets with Tennessee. It won't be all that long. FanDuel, the exclusive odds provider of the show. And I come to you bearing good news on a couple of fronts. Okay, so first off, you know the Super Bowl is coming up. Do you know that? I think you know that. If you don't know that, the Super Bowl is coming up. So it's kind of the last call for football, guys. I hate that the words are coming out of my mouth. But it is the last call for football, at least as it relates to this season. So for new customers over at FanDuel, you guys bet $5 on anything related to the Super Bowl and win, and you get $200 in bonus bets. Or so the key there is make sure you win. But that is a very, very good offer to take advantage of. However, maybe since this is a college football show, you're watching and saying, I don't know if I want to bet in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, it's $5, guys. I think you can swing it. But if you are thinking that, or maybe you're thinking, I'm going to bet the Super Bowl, but I want some college. I want some college football options. Buddy, did you come to the right show on the right night? They have posted some early season lines. For example, I have information in my hand right now that confirms LSU is hosting Clemson to start the year. LSU is a 10.5-point favorite. You can bet that right now. That's not just cosmetic. It's not an ornament on FanDuel. You can go bet that game right now. There's several of those over there. You got some Heisman odds over there. I know it's January. I know, guys. FanDuel knows. They also know how desperate you can get this time of year. Look, a lot of you are going to go over there and not even bet it. You're just going to go look. It just helps to look. And then you say, I'll take care of it in May. You know, I'll bet it in May. I just want to see it right now. I understand. We've all been there. I understand.